It still bothers me how many people risk so much for an affair. Having an A is so foreign to me. Maybe that's why I've had such a hard time dealing with my wife's. Reading the stories and comments bring back many memories and strong emotions. Before I do that, I'd like to share my story. My story is unique considering that my wife confessed voluntarily, and she did it years after the fact. Background: we were married in 1997. We were in our late 20s. The affair occurred for several months during the 1999 to 2000 period. My wife rug-swept it until confessing in 2008. We had been married for 2 years and just celebrated our second wedding anniversary. The first 2 years were blissful. I had recently switched jobs with a big pay increase. She recently changed careers as well. My new job required frequent travel all across US. She had to work weekends in her job. We didn't have kids, so it was easier to spend quality time together when our schedules allowed it. Our relationship had a history of LDR, so this was not new. My memory of the affair at the time. Looking back after all of these years, the first sign of any trouble was Thanksgiving of that year. We spent the Thanksgiving with wife's family. She was very distant and acted odd. Her parents noticed this behavior also and called me the next week to ask if she was okay. I thought that she was going through some depression. December was really bad. Whenever I was home, she would not talk to me. She would not look at me. I got the PMS vibe the whole time. I kept asking her what was wrong. I got the non-specific responses of, nothing, don't know. It's not you, it's me. She would work additional shifts during the weekend. At the time, I thought it was to make money dollars since she was on commission. With me traveling and her avoiding me by working extra shifts, we were very disconnected. I can describe it as her checking out of the marriage. She checked out, plain and simple. Social gathering were increasing awkward. We had made plans in advance to spend New Year's Eve in a cabin in the mountains. She asked me to cancel the reservation. She said she was scared of the Y2K stuff. We ended up going out with wife's sister and her new boyfriend, now husband. That was another awkward night out. You could cut the air with a knife. By January, divorce was becoming a real possibility in my mind. I couldn't stand the tension. Surely this phase, or whatever, has gone on long enough. What the hell is going on? It got to the point in January 2000 that I couldn't take it anymore. I was flying back out for a trip, and I remember telling wife, when I return from this trip and this is still going on, then I'm moving out. During this time, I felt invisible at best. Soon after that, things got back to normal. We celebrated that Valentine's Day with new enthusiasm. Wife bought me an expensive leather jacket, which is not like her. For the next 8 years, I referred to the period as the dark period. I chalked it up to a bout of depression, which runs in her family. Filling in the missing pieces. Fall 1999, a new guy started at wife's workplace. While I was away working, wife was hanging out with this new guy. They both were the same age, same background. Wife went out to lunch with other man frequently. Wife started doing activities with other man that she normally did with me. In essence, they were courting and dating. She started to work extra shifts for 2 reasons. First, to avoid me, and secondly, be with other man. Wife says that she truly thought that a platonic relationship could be maintained. She invited other man over one night to watch a movie. It went so well that they decided to have another movie night. It was one of these nights at our house when they first screwed. This is the WTF were you thinking moment. Why would you invite a guy over while I was out of town? Her response was, at the time I thought we could be just friends. She would have to be the most naive girl in the world not to see the giant red flag of that situation. I still highly doubt that claim. I claim that she knew what she was getting herself into. We agree to disagree on this matter. That must have been before Thanksgiving. November through January, she inflated my flaws and compared them against her new dreamy boyfriend. She started to rationalize her affair by questioning our marriage. Some of the items that she listed as reasons for continuing the affair were insulting. One of which is she never got along with my mother. Another was that I was too responsible. Really? We just bought our first house. We had a lot of bills to pay, careers to get off the ground. All of the usual stuff for young couples just starting out on their own. We went to her company Christmas party. Things were at the height of tension, but I was hoping for the best. We walk in the front door, hand our jackets over to the host. Wife turns left and walks away towards a group of guys. She totally blew me off. I spent most of the night sitting on a couch drinking my beer and wondering the WTF is going on. If I was more observant, I would have noticed how friendly she was with other man. Once I put that together later, I was livid. It still pisses me off. She brought me to a party knowing her new boyfriend would be there. Then she lets me be the stupid husband that doesn't know that his wife is poking her coworker, but everyone else knows. I don't know who at work knew, but I can guess that most had to have some idea. She canceled the New Year's trip because she knew that if we were alone, she would confess to the affair. So she canceled the trip. Sometime in January, she broke off the affair. She felt like crap. The guilt started to pile up pretty high. Shortly after the breakup, other man left for another job. I'm not sure about the timing. I had to give away the leather jacket because whenever I wore it, I said in my head, my wife screwed her coworker and all I got was this lousy jacket. The jacket was a huge trigger. A friend of ours got an expensive designer jacket for free. In 2008, a couple that we knew informed me that they were divorcing. Wife asked me what I would say if someone asked us about our marriage. She then asked me what I thought about the dark period. That's when she confessed. I was blown away. Denial, the first stage. It's funny how I immediately went to must have been a one-night stand assumptions. She must have been drunk. My brain could not fathom an ongoing affair. For the next few weeks we would talk, and I would learn more details about the affair. I would have bet my life that wife would not, be capable of having an affair. That's when I realized how naive I was. A few months after D-Day, we moved to another state and stopped family psychologists temporarily. We spent 3 years, off and on, in marriage counseling. I spent about a year in individual counseling. Wife started individual counseling prior to her confession. Once we moved that summer, she would not go to individual counseling. That was a big hang-up with me and my counselor. She's the one that had issues, adultery, and I'm the one going to counseling? She eventually went to her own counselor. We found a new marriage counselor as well. At one point, we had 3 counselors simultaneously. That first year was spent mostly looking back and self-evaluating ourselves individually and as a couple. There were a lot of discussions and arguing, highs and downward spirals. Fall 2009, I was still so full of rage. This is the anger phase of grief. I yelled at my kids frequently. I yelled at wife. I was self-medicating with alcohol. I even got into a fist fight at a football game with a drunk fan. I was sober. Prior to D-Day, this was not in my nature. I decided to go on Zoloft before the holidays approached. The demons are so much stronger during Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially when we go back to visit family, near where the affair occurred. I stayed on Zoloft for about 18 months. The drug helped to take the edge off my emotions. I learned that irritability is a strong symptom of depression for men. Those first 3 years post-D-Day were hell. Today we are doing much better. The rage and anger has been replaced by a dull ache. Most days I have a sense of peace. We're still married. We realize that we are now 2 different people than then. It is a new marriage. The old marriage is dead. It is my opinion that in order to reconcile a marriage after an A, the marriage must be rebuilt. The old marriage cannot be patched or fixed. It is shattered. Both spouses must commit to start over. It takes a lot of work and a long time to work through the issues and emotions that accompany affairs.